the other thing he talked about was calibrated questions, like asking how, what, and sometimes why. We didn't actually touch on why, because why can be like accusatory, like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Why? So why is used sensitively. Read the book to, get more context on that. But do you think using or asking questions with how and what could help like communication in your life?
Yeah, I think that helps to open up the conversation, because if a question's asked and you're just take the answer in, but you don't know the how or the why or the what or even the when, then what have you actually really discovered about that person or that project? What have you discovered? Because I think, as I said, it's about building trust. It's about building relationships. In order to continue asking more questions, you have to ask the why. You have to ask the what,
I think it's an old adage, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. It's about listening. I think with this book and with these sort of things, the way I see it is you're consistently trying to gather information.
Yeah.
Hence, those questions, they're open-ended questions, which will give you more information. And especially as a salesperson or, yes, as a husband or a partner or a friend or a brother or sister, whatever you might be, the more information you have, the better educated decision you're going to make. So I think that's kind of what Chris Ross is kind of alluding to. And again, I keep saying it, but because it's so true. It's, again, that emotional intelligence. Because once you get that information, you don't want to be triggered by that information. Because if someone's just been vulnerable with you and told you something, I feel this way, and then you shut them down or something of the sort like that, then they're going to just close up again. So you have to kind of be like, okay, I don't like what I just heard. However, I like the fact that they told me. Where can we build from here? So I think, this book and many other books that we talk about allude to those sort of things.
I mean, you touched on it there about listening and how powerful listening can be. But, like, where's the balance between listening and then also getting your point across? Because, we want to listen and understand, but at the same time, if we might even be frustrated or annoyed about a situation. So, like, I'm just putting it out there. Where's the balance?
I think every situation is different and every relationship is different, right? It could be a work colleague or it could be a really close friend. How you will look at those 2 different conversations or relationships will be different. So how you approach them will be different. And I feel that it's important to, build on any conversation that you have, build on it. And they say open-ended questions because you want to open up the person a bit more so that person builds trust with you and that conversation continues and you get to know that person better than you did when you first started that conversation.
So, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I think as well the circumstance is important because if I'm trying to sell you a car, it doesn't really matter how I feel. You know what I mean? You're what's important right now. So you're the client. If I'm trying to, obviously, Joe, you're a wedding MC, you're there to cater to the bride and the groom. Yeah. So you kind of need to listen and you need to get that information they give you in that circumstance. But as a husband or as a father, then it might be more balanced. Yeah. So the circumstance, I think, dictates how you would approach that.
Yeah, fair. And I guess negotiation is the whole point of the book. And one of the things when we have negotiation is like somewhere we concede. Yeah. But how do we deal with like situations where we might feel uncomfortable to concede? Like, it's quite an emotional thing, right? We might think someone might be like, all right, I want you to come and do my wedding MC, but we've only got £100 as our budget. Obviously, that wouldn't be a good budget. But at what point would we concede, or at what point would we say, oh, actually, I'll accept it? Or do you get what I mean?
I think especially, if we're talking about a wedding MC, I think some couples might book me for the whole entire day, right? From, let's say, 2 o'clock up until, let's say, about 9 o'clock. Another couple might just want me from, let's say, 3 till maybe 7. There's room for negotiation there. There's room to concede. My price might be my price, but at the same time, I'm not there for as long. So it might even leave me to host at an awards or do something else. So, for me, it's about context, and 2, it's about, meeting the client's needs and the wants.
Yeah.